Ladies and gentle beans, I'm about to get started on soldering up this Squire Strat and installing the blender pot. So let's get started. What's on the Bench, Episode 2. This is a Squire by Fender Stratocaster with a rosewood fretboard, a beautiful mint green pickguard, bent saddles with Squire stamped in them, just like Fender. Pretty cool. Low friction pots. They're really smooth, super fast. Because they're metal, they go on and off very quickly. The reason why this guitar is in my shop is because the owner tried to install a blender pot, or he did install it, but it doesn't work. Blender pot allows you to blend one pickup into another, or more volume in one than the other, hence the blender. And so when the volume's on zero or off, it still has sound, so that means the grounds are messed up for sure. He wants a bone nut installed, but that nut is perfect. It is bone, and so I don't have to install a new nut. So let's get started. I've removed the original audio from this part because I had my dryer on in the background and it was just really, really bad. So again, this is a learning experience for me. This is only my second episode, and filming and working, I've said it before, it's interesting. So here I'm removing the old strings so I can get access to the pickguard and all the electronics, of course. Now here I've got the E string, there's no E string. What? Oops. So yeah, I love these vintage style tuners. In my opinion, I should say they're my favorite. Locking tuners, Shalers are also wicked. Godo I love, but I love the vintage style of tuners. So here I'm using a little low voltage screw gun. I love this little thing because there's not a lot of torque, so it's slow and easy, so it prevents, especially when you're screwing in, it prevents any type of stripping. So I really like this little gun. It's like, I don't know, 12 volts maybe or something, I don't know. It's low torque. So yeah, this is a little boring, but alright, finally done with the screws. Apparently not. One more to go. I have these little pick trays. I've made several of them over the years, but they're at least for me, they're pretty difficult to make, so I haven't made any in a while. But they make great gifts, so I might make a few for Christmas, we'll see. So I'm putting the strings aside here. I tend to keep the old strings on so I can use them for the initial setup without, I don't have to restring with brand new strings and ruin them. So now this is a spaghetti bender here. None of these wires were soldered correctly. They were not all of them, but about 80% or more, a little more, were cold soldered. I'm missing a little bit of footage, again, amateur hour over here, but I for some reason I'm missing my phone camera footage. As you can see here, that footage right there, I left at another location and I'm editing in a different location, so I don't have access to it, so whatever, I'm using overhead cam here. So here is the schematic I was given to do the modification. So the blender is a Lawler Pickups blender modification. There are others that have their own similar type of blender pots or pot, and this is the one that I'll be using. So first thing first is to start dismantling all this wire that was done by the owner. Some of it's out of frame, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Like I said, it'll get better. So here I'm going to start literally pulling, literally pulling the wires right off of the pots. Look there, just snapped right off. And like that's the case for, like I said, most of them. Here's another one, just comes right off. There's another one right there on the volume pot. There's two of them together that I can just pull right off. So that told me that I needed to remove and basically start from scratch. As you'll see in a minute here, the ones that I can't pull off, it doesn't matter if I can't pull them off, they're coming off. I'll have my soldering iron out of frame here, all ready to go. So here I have the background audio, or the original audio, back in. I'll leave it there for now because it's not too bad, just so you can sort of hear a little bit of what I'm doing. So here I'm removing all of the wires. So the pickup wires will come out, the switch wires. The only thing I'm going to leave on there is that orange drop capacitor, which I will later resolder because I don't trust any of these joints at all. So I'm going to take every single wire off. And once I've removed all of these wires, I'm going to clean up all the solder joints. I have a cold, so the other thing that's beneficial, so when I did this video, I was sniffling through the whole video, and you're going to hear me sniffle with this, just like that, with this voiceover. So doing the voiceover in this case has been beneficial because the amount of sniffling was really annoying, even for myself. So you can hear me there sniffling. So basically, I'm removing all the wires. I'm going to solder suck any solder that's left on there. Because the idea when you solder is you want the minimal amount of solder possible. And you also want your contact, your wires in this case, to actually touch the lugs. So in other words, you don't want to fill an eyelet with solder and stick the wire in the center of it. You want that wire touching the lug, and then you solder it. And this is why I use these tweezers. You can see I'm using here to actually remove them, but they will act like clamps, and you'll see me use that technique when I start rewiring it. Also, I think I caught footage of me bending those lugs on each of those pots. So all of those pots have been replaced too. They're very good high-end pots. The owner installed them, but he put all the lugs straight. He didn't bend the lugs up, which meant for a difficult wiring job. So you'll see, I think I've filmed me bending all the lugs to a 90-degree angle. Oh, that's nice and blowing my nose there. See, this is real, folks. This is real. I suppose I could have edited that out. So I think that's it for I got all the wires off. So now I'll start cleaning things up. I'm getting them ready to get wired. Alright, so now I'm going to remove the pots. So, I don't have to remove them actually, I'm just going to loosen them so I can rearrange them just for a better soldering environment and get those lugs straightened out. So I'm looking for an Allen key right now to remove the knobs. Little set screw in there. I'm going to grab my little pliers here to bend the lugs. These are perfect for the job. So this way, when you bend them at a 90-degree angle, I can have two pots with the lugs facing each other. Just makes for a much tidier, tighter wiring job. And when the owner initially wired this, it was kind of a spaghetti for that reason. Just it's much better this way. Now these pots, the lugs are very flexible, but Dunlop pots, you gotta They're a little bit brittle, man. If you try and do what I just did on one of those pots, it'll probably break. So you're better off creating a bridge with a piece of wire. Speaking of wire, all of this wire on this guitar is old school push cloth, pre-tinned, which is awesome. So here I've got the pots in the correct direction I want them in. Solder sucker. So now I'm going to start cleaning up every single joint, all the lugs, the tops of the pots, all the eyelets, everything. Very important to have a clean soldering tip. Oh, miscalculation there. Have to tighten out the pots before you start soldering. Here's some still shots of the pickups. These are Tonoporium pickups, a Canadian company out of Ottawa, with the push cloth wiring. I forget the name of these pots, but they're very good, really good pots. You can see the bent angles and all the lugs are all cleaned up. Zip ties. So apparently I haven't recorded the 1, 2, 3, 4 wires that I've put on so far. I don't know what happened. Stupid camera. So yeah, filming while working is an interesting thing. It's not something I've ever done before, so it'll take a while to get me into the flow and get it a little bit more smoother running. But whatever, you don't have to watch. Alright, so where am I? Nice, neat and tidy. Back to jumpers. So these two are good. I'm going to fix this cap. If you saw the video from the start there, you'll see that these joints that were there before, they're all cold. Okay, so that's fixed. Swing on next. So a very short wire. Go from here to here.
excuse me, my compressor. Stupid cold. Alright, so Sweet on next. That looks good. Nice and solid. What's next here? Alright, I think that's it for the jumpers. Now I'll move on to the pickups. So we'll do the neck first, which is already there. So these are, what am I talking about? I already did that. See how shit I am at shooting videos? Alright, so neck. This is the bridge for sure. Which one is the neck, which is this one. Probably should have marked that. Right, so neck. Should I all? Yeah, I guess we'll put them. This to round all the parts. So let's do this. Oops. Technical difficulties. That's not working too well. So if you notice, the solder is very shiny. That's exactly how it should look. If it's dull, it's no good. But that's not also the defining thing. Other things could go wrong. You just want to make sure you have the least amount of solder and have whatever contact you're working on to ensure that you have the wire touching the actual pot. So not solder, but the wire touching the pot. Very, very important. So, just like that. And that's how you do a ground wire, folks. So make sure, don't rely on this stuff here. You want a good hard soldered wire. That's for sure. All right, so the ground's done for that. Now I gotta ground all of these. All right. Let me see, folks. Taking your time. Nice and neat. That was my wife, by the way. Alright, so that's going to go grounded here. This should be black, but I didn't install it. I'm going to keep it though. So that'll be ground. This is also ground. And the white, of course, will go to this white, rather. Will go to the middle lug, so I think I'll do that first. Ambidextrous. Not really, but there we go. And this will be round. That will do. Now, let's see if it works. Alrighty, so let's see if this works. So this is a blender pot. It's no longer a tone pot, it's a blender pot. So let's check it out, see what it does. I'll plug it in. Alright, so let's see what happens here. Let me get something. Alright. Here we are with the bridge pickup. Everything's on 10, including this blender pot. There's a little bit of neck in there, but so that's a little bit of bleed. But the deal is, with a real blender pot, it should be using a no-load pot. That means is there's a little indent between 9 and 10. So when it's on 10, it eliminates everything from the circuit except this pickup. And that's why there's a little bit of bleed through, but it's fine, it's not a big deal. So let's check this out now. Second position. This is all the way up still. So essentially this is working exactly how you would think a regular Strat wiring would work. See, when I hit this pickup, there's a little bit of bleed, but not very much. Essentially non-existent. So it works just like a regular Strat. So let's go back to this pickup, and now let's roll this all the way back. It's no longer a tone pot, remember, this is a blender pot. So what happens now? This still works, that's off. So with it off, or say 1, this pickup and this pickup's on. Alright, so let's see if I turn it up. There's less of this now. This is very cool. Wow, that's super cool. So hence the blender, right? This is really the one that's in complete control always. And then you can reduce the blend of this one. That's very, very cool. Amazing. Okay, so let's see what happens now. Blender's on 0, position 2. So all 3 pickups. Is this recording? It is, great. So all 3 pickups are on. Very cool. That's with it off. If we roll it up, it obviously works with the same as a Strat. So the blender brings all 3 of them in when it's in position 2. So what happens with position 3? the bridge is off, which is normal. Okay, so the middle pickup doesn't look like it does anything when it's up or down. Just acts as a middle pickup. So, did I say bridge? Anyway, so middle pickup, when it's in position 3, position 4 should be this pickup and this pickup. But blender down, what happens? This works, this works. So all 3 of these are on again. That's what it looks like. Interesting. So let's try position 4. Hold on, let's try this one more time. So didn't I say that all 3 were on? Yeah. Position 2. Okay, well, that's odd. So now neck. These 2 coils. So that's interesting. This and this is the same, this and this is the same, and this is just the middle when the blender pot is completely on. So that's interesting. But if we bring it up, see, this is the thing. If it's on 0, it's not really working. So you have to bring it up to at least 1. And now let's go back through it again. So that's this, and the more I go, the less of the neck. Truly blending the sound of both pickups. Very, very nifty. Okay, so position 1, 2. So back and then all the way to 0, and then I'm going to turn it to about 1 or 2. You'll have to excuse me, I got a cold once again. So now it's on about 1 or 2-ish. So this pickup, and a little bit of this pickup. So interesting. Wow. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, so this is all making sense now. It's first time, obviously, with this stuff. So check it out. This is all 3 pickups working. When the blender pot's on about 1.5-ish, all 3 are on. And as you roll it up, it starts to blend this one out of the equation. Very cool. Go back to the middle. Let's see what happens. Nothing, right? Same deal. So the middle pickup is nothing changes. There's no blend, which makes sense. So now we're in position 4. If I put it on again, roll it back, bring it up to about 1 or 2. So now this does, it's very cool. So when it's on about 1, you get all 3, and as you blend, this one disappears, so you get rid of the bridge. These 2 still work. Very cool. So that means you can blend in this pickup. Oh my god, I swore, sorry. I love this. This is super cool. Okay, let's move to the neck. Same deal. Yeah, so as you would expect, now it's just, this is on control, and you can blend this one in or out. So there you go. That was a very cool discovery for me, because I really had no idea how it really worked. I've never used one before, and I just installed it on a customer's guitar, and it works wicked. I can't wait to restring it, do a full setup, clean the fretboard, polish it, the whole deal. Stay tuned. like to keep things very neat, tidy. Come on. I gotta put my glasses on. Oh my god. Age. So this stuff here, nobody will see. But if I ever work on it again, or somebody else, I hope they can appreciate the extra time to make the job that much easier, to understand the wires flopping all over the place. Professional, in other words. All right, so here we go. I think it's time to put this back in the guitar. So beautiful. I love this. This mint green is something else. It's wicked. Love it. All right, so screws. This out of here. Yeah. More sacred meds. What? You never saw anything. What? What am I saying? Okay, so sweet on next. I need this device. So here's a little tip. I would say whenever you're putting screws back in, whenever you're putting screws, speak when I'm not drilling. When you're putting, I should not hang this over that guitar either. Okay, so when you put screws back in, especially on a pickguard like this, where there's so many, this is actually very good. I can see from the top here that those screws are really aligned fairly well. So in this case, not a big deal. But anyways, when you're screwing, you should always just snug them up. Put them all in other words, and then just snug them up. But don't tighten them all the way. Just get them a little bit so the pickguard is actually down. I gotta redo this one and this one here. Just a little bit more. Always delicate with these tools. Now this is a very low voltage, low torque. You can hear it's, it takes a little bit of effort to get it in. So in this case, it's fine, but normally I like to use screwdrivers, which I'm going to use in a minute. Put this down here. All right, I'm gonna go in for the manual tools. very important to use the correct head size for your screw. May sound obvious, but often overlooked by some. And they'll use what they have and strip it and mess it up. And over tightening, see that a lot. Strip screws. Strip screws are so common, it's not even funny. All right, so let's put some knobs back. Oh, here's a tip. Okay, so let's see where I'm here now. Here's a tip. All right. You see this here pot? It's called a split shaft for obvious reasons. When you put one of these on here, which is a, oh, where am I here? There we go. One of these deals with the set screw. The set screw is what I'm trying to say should line up with the split shaft. You know what I'm saying? So I would put it down like that, in other words. So it's got to come up some because there we go. Nice. So sure this is lined up again. This time I will get it going a little bit quicker this time. It takes patience to do this kind of work. It's helped me over the years to control me. Test of patience for sure. Sometimes when you get it right though, you want to do it again. And the better you get at it, the more you want to do it. And what was hard isn't. So right, blender pot. Tone, volume. Right on. All right, so what's next on this beast? So, here's something. All right, so you might have seen me a few videos, or not all of them, but some of them that I keep the strings while I do other things, right? I keep them, I don't, although I'm changing them. Here's a new set right here, but before I change strings on a guitar, because I have to do a full setup on this thing now. Excuse me. So I keep the old strings to do this, like to get the setup started, in other words. And then I'll tweak it, of course, once the strings are changed. So that's the reason why I keep the strings on. It's no sense in ruining a new set of strings, right? Just use the old ones. It's pretty simple. And the other cool thing about this guitar I'm working on, besides that wicked mint pickguard, vintage tuners. So there was a time where I didn't really dig these tuners, man, when I was younger. Now I love them. They're crazy good. Really super fast. Just makes a lot of sense. The string end goes inside the whatever you call that thing, tuner post. There you go. So, after I do this, I will check. Mainly, I'm not going to be too concerned with the intonation, I should say. I didn't say, I wanted to say. So I'm going to worry about that after I get the majority of the setup done. Other than the intonation. But it's a little bit of extra effort. It's worth doing. And the drill really speeds up this process. Just gotta be careful not to be, don't want to be too overzealous. key, skip the key. Damn cold. It's got me off my game. Alright, so I'm gonna have to take that off. Terrible. All right, so let's get this thing tuned up. I use this device here to measure accurately everything to do with the action. Now I need to find out what that is there. So it's made overseas. Therefore, it's probably metric, and I would say 3. Could be wrong. Probably 4. Let's say 4. Let's just try 4. There we go, ladies and gentle beans. Okay. Need me, maybe net. All right. Where we at? Where we at? That, my friends, is pretty darn good. Let's check. Well, we have to tune it, right? So, this is stupid. But, yeah. I think it was set up pretty well before, so. So still missing in high E string. But that's not too much of a concern. Because it will all be tweaked once I put a new set of strings on there. Alright, so let's see where we're at. Again, very good. That's way too much relief. We'll get away with a lot less. Let's see. Okay. Sure that's good. Oops, that slipped out. There we go. That's it. Pretty good. Oh yeah. That's pretty good. Keep that in reverse now. It's a little too small. Never know on these instruments. All right, I'm about to do the intonation with old strings. I'm actually not going to do the intonation, I'm just going to check it That'll give me a good idea. Let's change that neck rest. There we go. Give these strings a good stretch. I should have did that already. Well, so far what I'm saying, I'm good to go. I can put new strings on this. unfortunately, this bridge, the holes are not drilled out very well, so they're getting stuck. Which sucks if you go into a gig, right? This guitar is pretty much brand new, so there's not a lot of, dirt. There's a bit of scratches here from the saddle moving, it looks like, but nothing to worry about. So while I have this open, I'll give it a polish. I'm going to use my Simple Green to clean the board, because I think that's going to be enough. It doesn't look too bad, really. It's just the type of wood, now that I look up close. I think it's laurel or something like that. But nonetheless, I'm going to clean the board good. That nut, so I took out that nut thinking I had to replace it with bone, and it turns out that it is bone after inspecting it, so no need to change it. So, you'd be surprised how much dirt can be on a new fretboard. Alright, so I'm actually not even going to use this. I forget what I just said. Not even going to use it. Alright, so check it out. Check it out. Frets. I used to do it all by hand polishing, but this is for this it's perfect. This tool is perfect for that. So goggles. This is a jeweler's rouge polish for fine metal. So here we go. That's that. All right, so next I will condition the fretboard. Yeah, it's very weird. It's definitely not rose wood, I don't think. Doesn't. The grain is weird. No. This guitar is pretty expensive. But as I get closer to it, I see that there are some, the fretboards, the frets themselves are not the best, but still good guitar, just lacking a little bit of quality when it comes to the choice of woods, but all good. What do I know? All right, so I always leave it set leave it sit on the fretboard for a little bit and wipe it off. I don't need this tape anymore. Alright, let's get this off here. What's next on the menu? I should probably put a drop of glue. In the net. So normally I would use this stuff. This is really good CA glue, super glue, but it's thin, so I think I have some stuff that's a little bit more suitable. But this stuff I highly recommend, Glue Boost. So I'm going to choose to use a CA glue, but you could literally use any glue. So it's quite simple. You don't put it on the bottom. Don't put it on the bottom, you put it on the side. So I always just put it on one side. A couple of just like maybe 3 little dots. That's 1, 2, and 3. I mean, that's really small drops. That's all you need. And be ready if there's any squeeze out. Before I push it in, I'll have a rag ready to go. Position it, push down. Perfect. And squeeze it and let that sit for a minute. Time for some new strings. So here's a tip, simple one. Now we got the low E strung through here. So what I'm going to do is go through one string at a time, but not going to tune one up and then string it and then tune it up and string it. No, that's not what I do. So I always take the whole set of strings. And fish the wires through. So what I like to do with the nut is just a little touch of sandpaper. Just to break the edge a little bit. I should have did it with it off, but didn't seem as bad. It's fine. But you don't want to do too much, especially in the front here. So careful if you're gonna do this. Should have my glasses on. You don't want to touch the fretboard. This is a 800 grit piece of paper. Gonna soften it up big time. Polish it some. Yeah, this is good. Way to go, Squire. Bone nut, pretty cool. Don't normally see that. I could try and polish that, I wonder. Let's see. Now I'm going to discolor it. We'll clean this a little bit. Right. So that helped a little bit. Just to give it a really soft feel, you know. It's very important. I mean, you know, I could polish it up really big time. But not this time. So there we go, that's nice and clean. Polished. ready for strings. So on most tuners, these included the old style. What I like to do is so you go from 1 to about 2.5. Make sure you're pulling on the string tight. Right, so nice and taut there, make sure. So do this again, but backwards. So 1, 2, 3, maybe 2.5, 3, something like that. Most of the time, I just use my thumb up under the string around the pickups, and that usually works for me. But so 1, 2, 3, I'm going to cut it here. Stick this around like that. Now let's go old school here. Instead of using the drill. Always pull tight. Always make sure that the string is seated through the bridge properly, through that block, because sometimes it'll get stuck, and as you tune it, it'll pop up and make the string longer than you wanted it to be. So here we go, same deal. See what I do here, I always have the string taut as I'm tuning it up. Always. 1, 2, 3. It's okay to move the tuners out of the way while you're stringing up. Wow, doing it manually sucks. I'm too old for this. Yeah, leaning over with the back and everything. I need some assistance, and time is money. Always put your tools away when you're done, folks. Keep your bench tidy. There we have it, all strung up. So, get the guitar in the ballpark. All right, so very important to stretch your strings properly here. So I grab here and here, and I push with my thumb. So these are all anchored, and then I push like this, and I do that right from the nut all the way down to the bridge. Grab the string on the way up, the A string, and then grab the D and so on. So that way you get good pull here, and you get pull through the saddle. Just makes sense to me. So you tune it up and you go through the process again. All right. So now I'm gonna check the relief and the action. That's cool. That remained the same, pretty much. And this is alright. We're in good shape, folks. We are in good shape. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is use this in combination of this Allen key here to get the action in order. So that's pretty good, but it's pretty low. Now, people have this misconception a lot with this, what I'm doing here. So once you get, that's pretty good. Okay, so this has a radius, right? The bridge, it follows the radius of your neck. A lot of people I see, they will tilt this down, right? And they'll kind of like make this arc kind of weird thing. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. These are designed to be level. Okay, so there's a tip, folks. Make sure they're level. And here I'm looking for about 4/64ths, 5/64ths, somewhere in that ballpark. Okay, this is all pretty good already. So that's nice to see. Check to make sure everything's level and at the exact same height. So that's the key, right? You want to have saddle level and have it at the same height as a string beside it. And as you get higher on the B and high E strings, you can actually get away with lower action, but it depends on the radius of the board. And it'll choke out. When you pull the string and bend it, it'll choke out. So yeah, we're good. Yeah, that's pretty darn good. So, pull up a smidge. I'm way in the way. I'm probably in the way of the shot. Right? See what filming? I'm not used to filming, so. But I will get used to it eventually. So there we go. I've set up the action. Seems like the action's dialed in. So is the relief. Now I'm just going to check pickup heights. Now, me personally, I know already. I don't even have to do this because I have the experience. I know what I need to do already. So I'm going to lower the output on the bass side and increase it on the treble side. Because the bass strings have more resonance, right? So, or more volume or output. That's what happens. So let's see what we got here. That's pretty good. I'm not gonna go too low. I don't know how long these screws are because
Could be a disaster if they fall through. All right.
That'll be fine. Check to make sure everything's tight. That's the owner tried to fix this. Oh yeah, he told me about this. So hold on, let's get in closer here. So that is chewed up. All right, so I have to repair. Fuck off! Fuck Jesus! Fucking Christ! Fuck! Fucking piece of shit! Oh my God, I hate this fucking thing. Fuck. All right, so the owner made this hole way too big, so I'm going to fill it with some hard maple. This is extremely cool. This is called a Gluebot. Very cool. Plastic head. Time to I gotta not repair this, but I did repair it. I put a piece of hard maple in there. That's much better. Okay, so let's check the intonation on this guitar. Move this over a little bit. So the idea here is, I think I've mentioned that you want the string to be the same length from the nut to the 12th fret and from the 12th fret to the saddle. That's good. Good. I did this all off camera because I forgot to press record. Anyways, D is a little sharp. So if your D is a little sharp, sorry, not your D, but if your string is sharp, you got to bring the saddle back to make it a little bit longer. That's a strobe tuner, the most accurate of tuners. It's a Peterson also. They've got a great reputation when it comes to tuners. They're known for their strobes. That's good. A little bit sharp. Perfect. All right, so this guitar is all done. Got it plugged in and I'm ready to give it an audio test. So, you're wondering what this thing is? It's a magnet underneath there. That's awesome. I absolutely love this thing. I don't like things hanging around my neck or whatever. This is the ultimate solution if you wear glasses. They're always with me. I love it. Yes, these days I have to use glasses for a lot more than reading these days. All right. Sure, put this camera down a bit. Alright, so everything's on 10. Position 2. 3, middle pickup. 4. Cool. And then the neck. Very cool. Okay, so the blender switch in position 1. So we have our bridge pickup. Now if I put the blender on 0, put it on about 1, wee, what a nice sound. That's the bridge and the neck. And the more I bring this up, the less of the neck. And the more of the bridge. It's a cool sound. Very cool. So position 2, of course, is these two pickups, but if I'm not mistaken, you can roll in the
the neck pickup. That's crazy. Okay, and position 3 is just the middle pickup. This has no effect because it's just one pickup. So now we're going to go between these two pickups. And we're dialing in the bridge. So now we have all 3 pickups. Very, very cool. 5th position is going to be with the blower down. So if it's up, it's just the neck, but if it's down all the way and I bring it up to blend, it's now using this as the main, and this is being blended in. That's pretty wicked. Yeah, very cool. It sounds killer. These are Tonoporium pickups from Ottawa. Guitar sounds really good, man. Very cool. The owner's going to love this thing, man. Can't wait to drop it off tomorrow. Ciao. What's on the bench?